And welcome back. Well, some people have several doctors for different problems, but do you ever wonder what your physician's philosophy is when it comes to patient care?
Joining us now are Doctors Gwen and Madan Kandula from Advent to explain the Advent way of providing health care. Great to see you guys.
Thanks for being here.
Whenever I think about a certain way of doing things, I always think about the Disney way, because so many businesses are like, nobody cries when you're at Disney. But I do think it's important for every company to sort of have their own philosophy on a lot of different things, how they handle their office, but especially how they feel about patient care.
Yeah,
it's important, right?
It is important, and it varies. So I don't think a lot of folks really get that concept that, you know, when you go to your doctor and you sit down with them, they're coming to things with a certain attitude. In our practice, you know, it is our practice, so it's a private practice, and we focus on what we do with sort of a razor sharp edge, and we do it in a certain manner, and we expect everybody who is in our office to, you know, carry out in the same way. I think a lot of healthcare has gotten away from that, and it's gotten a lot very impersonal, very away from what we're all here to do and what we are all here about. For us, it's very simple, and so for us, it's very much the golden rule, and applying that to healthcare. And how would you want to be treated if you're a patient? What do you want to know? How do you want to be treated, meaning medically treated, and you know, those sorts of things. And that's really the driving force for us.
Well, and I think you guys started back in 2004. That's the first time you opened the doors for an Advent. And having gone to your location with my mom, that I think from the moment you walk into that lobby, it was the first thing that she noticed was the direct contact, the speaking louder, because you deal with different issues with hearing, nose, throat, things like that. And for somebody who has hearing issues, such as my mom, it was the #1 thing she noticed. She had never had that kind of experience walking into an office before.
Yeah, and we try. I mean, I guess that's all we can do. We try, and we try to be better. We try to be better tomorrow and next week and next year. And I think that's been the neat thing is looking back now. We don't do that often, but it's been about 11 years now that we've been in practice. And, you know, so much has changed within our specialties. So much has changed within our practice. Nothing's changed in how we treat patients. So honestly, the way we walk in a room and treat somebody from day one to now, that hasn't changed. We've grown. You know, there's a lot more new tools and things that are great, but at the core, it's the same philosophy.
A lot of people, though, in a lot of advertisements, they'll say we're patient-centered. But what does that mean to you?
So for us, what that really means is anytime we find a new technology or are talking about a new way to do things or even reevaluating how we do things, we always ask ourselves, is this the best thing for our patients? And every single decision we make, we have a table we sit around and talk about, well, how is that going to affect our patient journey? What's it like from the moment they come through the doors all the way back? And is that really the best thing for them? And I think by always really thinking through that question, is it the best for our patients, we've been able to come up with some really good solutions.
Well, and some of the solutions you have are the things that are offered in office, right? What types of things are patient-centered for you in that respect?
Again, for our practice, we are focused only on ear, nose, and throat care. Hearing care is part of that. And so we are able to bring to the table things that are focused on those issues. If you go to a bigger system, it sounds like bigger ought to be better. Bigger isn't always better. Focused is better. And what we're able to do in the office nowadays, from just diagnosing folks, so we've got an in-office CT scanner. We were the first people to have that in Wisconsin, really, and that's been around since 2007. It's been a neat thing, and you know, it still is unique. It's still the only one around. We've got one in each of our offices. We're doing a lot of things in the office. Same thing. Patients want to get better. They want to get better in the least sort of invasive way we can get them better. We can do things better now. We can do things in the office, and if that's where things are going, we embrace that. And you know, there's not the only way. There's the way, you know, I was trained on how to do things, and the way I do things now compared to how I was trained, which isn't that long ago, is completely different. There isn't a medical issue that I treat in the same way that I was taught to do that. And I hope in 5 years and 10 years and 20 years that we can say the same thing, that, you know, I'm excited to know what we're going to do when it comes to fruition, but I also understand that, you know, we're doing the best with the tools we have. And as Gwen said, you know, if we've got something new, great, we're going to try it. We're going to try to bring it to the table. If it works and it's bringing good results, wonderful. If it's not, we've got a pile of things that are new and, you know, just didn't really quite do what we wanted it to do. And, you know, that's, you know, it's important for us to know those things, but it's important for us to know, you know, what's working and what's not.
Well, to be discerning, I think is key. And convenience is so much about what people want and need these days. I know you do online scheduling. scheduling, which is huge for a lot of people, makes it very convenient, as well as a lot of the free educational programs that you provide, which I think is great from people. And in terms of being an audiologist in particular, Tiff was talking a little bit about that. What do you do there specifically? Because I think she hit the point well that it's how people are treated even the minute that they walk in.
Absolutely. I guess really knowing and understanding how hearing loss is, but that it's not just something that one member of a family has. It's really a problem the whole family is dealing with communication-wise, and it's not just the communication portion, but then all the side effects of that, the withdrawal, the depression, the lack of self in some cases when that hearing loss isn't treated. And really having those conversations with the whole family, I think really it lends itself to better care for those people. So we really are looking at not just treating what's the problem, you know, and how do we just treat that simply, but really looking at that whole self and treating people again, that patient-centered and treating their whole self and their families.
Sometimes, even with my mom, it was the confirmation of sitting in the office and hearing you say, you have severe hearing loss. And you shouldn't think that you can hear certain things, but with this, you'll be able to. Just that confirmation that she's not the problem meant the world to her and gave her some confidence back. Now I'm going to be able to fix it. Now I'm going to be able to interact. Now I'm going to be able to hear my grandchild. Things like that, you know, that she didn't have confidence in before. So I think the way that you truly do focus on the patient is real. So people got to contact you. You do the online scheduling, as Molly mentioned, but you can come into the office and have an appointment with Advent ear, nose, and throat specialists. 414-771-6780 is the phone number to call. You're right on Mayfair Road in Tosa and Port Washington Road in Mequon. You can visit each of the locations, whichever one is closest for you. You've got all services at each. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Great to see you both.
You too.